My apologies for I actually kicked. I don't think I've ever kicked before. It's the first kick on the show. I just feel like if you go from number 9 to number 8, got to get that leg up there. Like, you guys understand. You guys already know what I'm doing just from jabs. Everybody kind of know, that's uppercuts. Everybody kind of knows my jabs, my uppercuts. So I just kicked. It was unsolicited too. I didn't plan on doing that. The kick just kind of came from within, from the heart. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. What's going on, Lake fans? Appreciate you guys tuning in on this wonderful Saturday. Lakers over the Cavs, 116-97. Impressive follow-up win for the Lakers after they've already done all that work that they did on the road. They come back and get another W, and they do it this time to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. We got a lot that we're going to get into. I want to spend some time talking about the Lakers. I kicked. I don't know if you guys know this. I kicked out of nowhere. I just threw a kick in there. I got to be honest with you. It's pretty high up. Definitely over my head. Probably not. We got a lot to get into. Lakers over the Cavs, 116-97, the final score. Lakers look dangerous. I'm not going to get too dramatic here, but looks like a pretty good basketball team. I don't think that's crazy to say right now. I don't think me claiming that the Lakers are playing unbelievable basketball and they're doing what they're doing is out of the ordinary. I really don't. I think Lakers are as dangerous as any team out there. I mean, other than the Boston Celtics and the Denver Nuggets, why can't the Lakers be talked about with all the other teams that are out there? This thing's annoying me. This freaking light. Real quick, 1 second. This is during the day, so it's like throwing me off. The lighting's all throwing me off here, but I think we're good. I think we're back. What a freaking mess right now. I throw one kick, throws everything off. All right, I'm back. Got my Yeti on. All right, let's get to it. So, spent some time. Lakers looking dangerous. Like I said, Lakers over the Cavs, 116-97. Lakers have now won 9 of their last 10 games, so keep that in mind as we go through the show. I'm going to be referencing that. Anthony Davis, is he not the best two-way player in the league? Tell me who's a better two-way player than Anthony Davis. A two-way player than Anthony Davis, the full package. We'll get into that because I want to spend some time talking about it, what Anthony Davis continues to do for the Lake Show. Spend some time talking about the rest of the team. A lot of quotes in the postgame. A lot of these players just talking about. Taurean Prince has had some really, really good quotes postgame, but he's talking about how the Lakers are just the way they're jiving, the way the mood in the locker room is. And then if the playoffs started today, I'm going to play out where the Lakers would be, the current standings, and then next game's coming up tomorrow. Lakers really don't get too much time to celebrate this because they got another game coming up tomorrow. First time you've been on the channel, welcome. If you've been on the channel many times before, welcome back. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, what the hell are you doing? Subscribe to the channel. Takes 2 seconds. Hit freaking subscribe. I got to get this thing, got to get it up to 25,000. And then from there, we got to keep rolling. So I think we're at 24 and some change right now with our subscribers. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy, a proud partner. All right. I'll get into Underdog later. I got some picks coming up for later tonight. Let's get started here. So 116-97, Lakers over the Cavs. There's a lot of things that I want to talk to you about the game. I want to talk about in regards to the game. But before I do, let me just kind of take a quick step back and talk about how the Lakers are playing right now in the scope of the rest of the NBA. So if you go to the NBA standings right now on ESPN, as you guys know, I have access to the standings. Nobody else has it. They come to me first. But if you go on ESPN and if you go to NBA standings and you go look at every team out there, last 10 games. Last 10 just basically means, okay, how is this team done over the last 10 games? Boston's 8-2 in their last 10. And I'm going to continue to keep Boston and Denver should not be in the conversation right now with any of these other teams because that's the class of the NBA. It's the best team in the Eastern Conference. It's the best team on the Western Conference.
Boston has yet to cash in with a chip. Denver has cashed in with a chip. But Boston also has a 14-game lead in the Eastern Conference at number 1. They've clinched already. They've already clinched home court. Almost said home field, home court throughout the playoffs. So let's take those two teams out of the mix. But if I'm just saying teams that are the hottest right now in the NBA, Boston's 8-2 in their last 10. Okay. Dallas has won 9 of their last 10 games too. They're as hot as anybody in the league right now. Give them all the credit in the world. I think Dallas could be a real threat in the playoffs too once the playoffs start, but they've won 9 of their last 10 games. After that, there's only one other team out there that is the equivalent of what Dallas Mavericks are doing. It's the Lakers. Lakers have won 9 of their last 10 games, and when I say the Lakers look dangerous, I don't think that I'm being I don't think I'm exaggerating. Some of the teams that they've beat here over this stretch of 10 games, and I'm trying to look here of just some of the teams that you can give them a little bit of credit for. The only ones that I would really give the Lakers for credit for, but I mean, listen, in the month of March, they beat the Clippers. They beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. So they beat some teams, but over this 9 wins of their last 10 games, the key games, obviously, are what the Lakers have done is the win against the Indiana Pacers. They have the Milwaukee Bucks. They got 2 against the Milwaukee Bucks in about the last month or so. And then Cleveland's really the only other team that you'd look at that and say, okay, here's another playoff team. But they look good doing what they're doing. I'm not telling you the Lakers are going to go win an NBA championship, but what I will tell you is they're as hot as any other team in the NBA, and I think that part you can't really deny. The good thing with that as well, you want to be hot this time of the year. You want to start getting healthy at this time of the year, and the Lakers are, clearly obviously starting to do that. So big time. So for at least for the Lakers right now over this stretch, they're playing good basketball, and I think that's going to be obviously very, very important for the Lakers as we continue to get closer to the playoffs with only 4 games left before the playoffs start. Okay, as far as this game against the Cavs, let's spend a little bit of time on it because I'd like to spend some time on it. Lakers defense tonight, phenomenal. Today, phenomenal. Really, really good. Basically, after the first quarter, Cleveland had a lot of trouble scoring the ball. Now, they did go on a run in the third quarter, which I'll get into in a second, but Cleveland put up 33 points in the first quarter, 23 points in the second quarter, 22 points in the third quarter, and just 19 points in the fourth quarter. Lakers are getting stops. And that's not something that I've been able to associate the Lakers with, right? A team that can get stops when they need to, kind of show up at the right time, rely on their defense, and that's kind of what they're doing right now. Now, they're still scoring, don't get me wrong. They're not exactly the greatest example of the Bad Boys Pistons or anything like that. I get that they're not, but they're still putting themselves, I think, in a really, really good spot where defense is starting to become a little bit more of that foundation again. And it hasn't been. The Lakers have not, by any stretch of the imagination, they didn't get back in the playoff hunt because they're a defensive team. They didn't. They just decided we're going to start outscoring teams, and that's how they were going to do it. But as players are starting to come back, as they're getting a little bit closer to the playoffs, it seems like defense is becoming a priority again, which is a real kind of refresher, to be honest with you. At least today it was. At least today against the Cavs, a team that can score, they can put up points. They got talent, so I don't think anybody's denying that the Cavs don't have talent. They got talent. The Lakers showed up tonight. I keep saying tonight. Lakers showed up today, and I thought defensively that was the foundation. If you give up in 3 quarters against a good playoff team in the Cleveland Cavaliers are not going to go win the East or anything like that, but they're good enough to beat anybody in one game. If you have 3 quarters where you're giving up 23, 22, and 19, that's really, really good defense. So just a shout out to the Lakers defense because I thought they did a good job. It's interesting. I was listening to the post game on Spectrum, and it was Robert Horry, it was James Worthy, it was Chris McGee, and it was Mike Bresnahan. So they were all doing their thing. I thought it was interesting. Right after the game ended, a few of the guys, Robert Horry and James Worthy, kind of both went not hard at the Lakers, but they were basically saying that run that the Lakers gave up in the third quarter where, I don't know what it was, maybe a 12-13 nothing run, whatever the run is, Cavs went from being down, what were they down at halftime? They were down 7 at halftime to being up by 4 in the third quarter. And Robert Horry, James Worthy they kind of pointed that out a couple times. You can't do this. You can't let teams go on runs. And I get it. Those are two champions that just were such an integral part of championship runs. They're saying, hey, this is not good enough if you want it later on. But I felt like, yes, Cleveland did have a run, but I was very impressed with the Lakers throughout the game. I just was. I mean, I almost feel like sometimes the Lakers get bored during games, and that could be a good thing and that could be a bad thing. The good thing is you're good enough to get bored and then still come back and win games. Not that I want them to get accustomed to that, but it feels like the Lakers, whenever they want to turn on, they can just turn it on. Anthony Davis was talking about it in third quarter. They couldn't hit shots, but they just started getting stops. Once they got stops, it kind of kept them in the game. And yes, that was a bad stretch for the Lakers in that third quarter for 5-6 minutes. But by the time the dust settled, by the time the third quarter was done, Lakers were up 10. So they were down, went down 4, and then ended up coming back. And then, like I said, went up 10 points. I will say, and this is probably what Robert Horry and James Worthy were talking about, Lakers can get careless. It could get ugly, and that part is fair. Can't have 20 turnovers. Now, Cleveland was just as bad. They had 19 turnovers, but 20 turnovers for the Lakers. Obviously, you can't get that done. That's not a good look, and that's not something the Lakers could. You got to be better from there. You also got to be better from the free throw line. It was only 10 of 18 from the free throw line, but I'm not going to harp on too many negative things because they did win the game by 19 points against a playoff team in the Eastern Conference in the Cavs. Couple individual performances that I want to point out. D'Lo dropped 28. He had 23 at halftime. Man, I sent out a tweet during the game. Let me read the tweet because I think there's some people that disagreed with me when all this was going on. And then a lot of people probably agreed with me. Here's my tweet. I said, I couldn't have been more off on D'Lo. He is arguably the biggest reason why the Lakers have been able to turn around the season. Already has 23 points, 9 of 11 in the first half. D'Lo balling out. I mean, his play has been such a big reason why the Lakers are in the spot that they're in. And nobody's saying that they're top 3 in the West, but they're back in the mix and they're a dangerous team. And I really think a lot of that has to do with D'Angelo Russell. If D'Lo doesn't do what he did, if D'Lo doesn't find a way to become productive, become a threat from the offensive end, improve as best as he can on the defensive side, keep teams honest on their defense to make sure that they're respecting him and they're not able to help off of him, I don't know where the Lakers would be right now. I keep hearing them say, and I heard D'Lo say this, I've heard Anthony Davis say this, that the team is having fun, that they are enjoying playing together again. And that probably has a lot to do with it. Whatever it has to do with it, D'Lo is clearly a big reason why the Lakers are having success and they're playing the basketball that they're doing. So give that man his credit. If you were one of the few out there that believed in D'Angelo Russell back in December, you should go be a scout in the NBA and maybe even a general manager. But I didn't. And I got no problem saying that I didn't because I really did not believe that D'Angelo Russell was going to be able to turn around. And here he is now shining with the Lakers. Plus 21 in the plus minus, highest plus minus. Second highest plus minus. But ended up with 28 points. Another 6 threes for him. A 6 of 12 shot, 50%, 11 to 17 from the field. D'Lo's just been incredible. So put D'Lo to the side real quick. He was fantastic. A couple other players that stood out to me. For everybody who bitches and complains about Taurean Prince, Taurean Prince has been pretty good lately. He has. He was 7 of 9 from the field today. He hit 4 of 5 of his three-point attempts. I think something Taurean Prince is doing, which I like seeing, is he's getting aggressive, trying to get to the basket. He's not relying just on threes. He had 18 points today. That's the kind of contribution. you need one or two guys to contribute off the bench consistently. So Torian gave him 18 tonight or today. Spencer Dinwiddie gave him 6. You had 28 points come off the bench. I think anytime Lakers could get to around 30, you feel like, all right, we're getting some help from the bench, some good contributions. And Torian Prince was the one that made it happen earlier today. I know a lot of people were angry at Torian Prince. I don't think you should have been mad at Torian. I think you should have been mad at Darvin Ham for giving him 35 minutes a game. It's not really happening anymore. I think that sweet spot has got to be maybe 17, 18 minutes for Torian Prince. That's enough. If he's playing well, let him play a little bit more. If he's not playing well, okay, then be mindful of his minutes. But that guy's a vet. He's been in the league for a long time, and he had a nice game today, and hopefully he can build off of that. LeBron, 24 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, 10 of 18 from the field. Struggled from his three-point shot, but everything else was working for him. And in an afternoon where Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves combined only give you 14 points, Lakers still put up 116 points. So that's great to see. Austin Reeves did have 6 assists in the game as well. So keep that one in mind as we go through this. All right. Do I read your comments or do I talk about Anthony Davis? I did a sweeping leg kick. Never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like it. It might have been one of the most athletic achievements I've ever had in my life. And look at my face here. I'm not joking around. Okay? Like I was I don't know. I don't even know if it's I was gonna say a UFC fighter, but they're yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, let's do this. Let's go with some of your comments. I want to talk about Anthony Davis. All right, let's see what you guys got here. By the way, super chat open for business. If you guys got a super, 100% I'm going to read it. If you don't have a super, it's all good. I'll try to get into those comments anyways. Bargain shopper comes in right there with the boxing gloves. Now I'm using my legs now. Okay, we're coming for that 6 seed. 6 seed's interesting. It's very aggressive on the 6, but it's not out of the question. That's kind of the crazy thing is that's how the Lakers playing the way they have, plus some of these teams in front of them losing it's kind of changed the game in the Western Conference. Sliwa needs, I think, to buy out something about a jump rope. Just kind of get this, you know how they do it, and then they start like missing it this way. You know the boxers how they do it. Of course. Oh, needs to bust out the jump rope. Got you. Tomorrow, Pels versus Suns. Damn, that's a good point. I think I want Pels to win that game. I have my reasoning for that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Hope we lessen the turnovers, but still great. We're in 20 turnovers, Francis, so you're right about that. I appreciate the comment right there. Let's get to a couple more of these here. I'm going to start this one and get back to it. Somebody had a question about some of the others. Warriors might let us win to avoid the 9-10. That's a good one, too. I'm going to star that one. I'll come back to it. I won't come back. Any of those that have a conversation that's a little bit longer, I'm going to come back to. Somebody asking about Vandal. We'll get back to that as well. Finally 8th. By the way, that is crazy. This long that they've gone and they're finally in the 8th spot. That's incredible that it took this long. But they could quickly get out of the 8th too. That's the thing that I think is most interesting here. It's not just, hey, the Lakers are in the 8th spot. It's I could be sitting here tomorrow, they're in the 7th. We could be sitting here in a week and they're in the 6th. That could happen as well. So that's not completely out of the picture as far as what the Lakers got coming up left. D'Lo definitely changed the season. Got some people that agree with me on that. Love D'Lo. So glad we didn't trade him. Damn, if you guys were here right before the trade deadline. How the conversation has changed. But it's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with... I want to give the man his credit because I didn't believe. And frankly, I still think we got, ways to go. You want to see what happens playing. You want to see what happens once you get to the postseason. If the Lakers are in the playoffs, who they playing? How does D'Lo perform? How far do they go? So I just think that for them to put part of the reason why the Lakers are in the spot that they're in, where they're not in the number 10 spot, they got a chance still to get 7 or 6 or whatever the case is because of D'Angelo Russell. So I think that's fair to say. Oh, that's not good. All right. A couple people scared me, told me I was muted. I'm not muted, right? Better not freaking be muted. I had some good points. If I was the only one that could hear myself. Okay, audio is fine. Jeez. It's the worst. You're doing a show by yourself, and then one person tells you that it's muted. I'm like, did I just talk to myself for 5 minutes? I got nobody to tell me that. Okay. I'll come back to some of these comments here, and we'll take it from there. Anthony Davis. All right, if I ask you guys this question. Best two-way player in the NBA right now. Best two-way player. Okay? I'm going to give you answers of what people are going to tell me. People are going to tell me Giannis is the best two-way player in the NBA. Okay? I'm not talking, if I said best defensive player in the NBA, a lot of people are going to say Rudy Gobert. All right? Now, I'm not watching Rudy Gobert every night, but there's a reason why people pick him, so whatever, it is what it is. I'm going to be biased in this conversation, but the reason why I'm bringing it up and I'm spending a little time on Anthony Davis is because Anthony Davis, 22 points, 13 rebounds. Who cares? That's literally nothing for him. He had 6 block shots and 3 steals today. 6 block shots and 3 steals. I heard, if I'm correct here. Let me see. Defensive. I'm going to search this room. I want to see who's in contention right now. Okay, that's right. So Wemby is part of the conversation. Okay. I'm not looking at MVP, most improved, not looking at D'Lo and most improved. D'Lo should some really good players there. Okay. So here's what it's showing. Rudy Gobert, it's showing Jared Allen, who was in the game today, Victor Wembanyama, it's showing Anthony Davis, and showing Bam Adebayo. So these are defensive players of the year. And from what I'm reading here, I think a lot of the conversation is, hey, this might be a lock. It's probably going to be Rudy Gobert again. Okay, is what it is. That's fine. I'm not watching Gobert games, and Gobert's won it before. So if he's the best defensive player in the NBA, I'll let other people who are watching everything. But all I can watch is Anthony Davis. And I don't know of another player that impacts the game on both sides of the floor like Anthony Davis. If I told you best two-way player in the NBA, people are going to say Giannis. Okay. Giannis is not a better offensive player than Anthony Davis. He's just not. He's not. His skill set is not that. Giannis can play bully ball. Giannis, I think he's got a lot better on not relying just on his athleticism. But Giannis does not have the skill set of Anthony Davis on offense. He doesn't. If you tell Giannis to go to the free throw line, I don't know what his percentage is, but Giannis is going to be a little shaky. Anthony Davis in the last game hit 15 of 15 from the free throw line. Anthony Davis, not that he does it often, but he can hit an occasional 3 here and there. His mid-range game, his ability to post you up, his back to the basket, his fadeaways, AD's got the full package. This isn't even a knock on Giannis. I'm just saying that if you said which player's offensive game do you want, I want Anthony Davis's offensive game. Now, what Giannis has, I don't think AD has. Giannis has this motor at times where he doesn't stop. I'd rather take that. Giannis has a physicality to him that I wish Anthony Davis had more often than not. AD, there are times Anthony Davis, it's like AD, turn that engine on, all full throttle, where I feel like Giannis is always full throttle. The only reason why I'm bringing this in the conversation, Embiid would come into the conversation as best two-way players in the NBA. At times, Kawhi was always one of those players, best two-way players in the NBA. The reason why I'm bringing this up is I don't know of another player that's doing as much as Anthony Davis. He's basically the backbone of the Lakers on the defensive side. He's the reason the Lakers are giving up 90-something points to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And any given night, he could drop 35, get you 16 rebounds. And oh, by the way, he's on pace to play 77 games this year. He's played 73 already. There's 4 games left to go. It's incredible. I just don't know why Anthony Davis this year, I get it maybe in previous years why he's not being talked about more. And maybe it just has to do with the fact that Lakers have been hovering around 8th, 9th in the play-in the whole year, that he's never really part of those conversations. Giannis, they're sitting at number 2. I don't know what the Bucks are going to do, but they look like they're in a world of trouble. They're having trouble being any team right now. For me, for my money, what Anthony Davis is doing right now, he's the best two-way player in the NBA. The positives, the negatives, like I said, there are areas of his game that I think I wish would be better. But for the most part, I don't know of another player that's doing what he's doing right now. It's been fantastic to watch. It's been fun to watch. This dude is killing it right now. And he's showing up to work every single – the knock on Anthony Davis for every Laker fan is like, hey, Al, he's just not available enough. Nobody has that knock this year. On pace to play 77 games this year. And Jared Allen, who's one of the other players that's, nominated for Defensive Player of the Year, had 0 blocks and 1 steal today. Anthony Davis, how many different times have we said? He had 6 blocks and 3 steals today, and that seems to happen all the time. And oh, by the way, he plays both sides of the floor. The Lakers also are dependent on him on the offensive side as well. So had to throw that in there. Anthony Davis doing work. If we were the number 4 seed, AD would be in Defensive Player of the Year MVP talks. But by the way, I'm okay with that. Like I think that's a fair assessment. If the conversation is, hey, if they were doing better, if the team was a higher seed, then he'd be in that conversation. I get it. I understand it. I'm not completely opposed to that. I think that's a fair comment to make. AD balls out every possession. Gobert focuses just on defense, no offensive game, so conserves energy just to defend. Literally, Gobert has no offensive game. That's what I'm saying. What makes this so special about what Anthony Davis is doing? It kind of reminds you of some of the other big men back in the day where Shaq was so dominant, he's just going to change the game on both sides of the floor. But Shaq also had a weakness. If you took Shaq to the free throw line, he's probably going to miss free throws. You can't really do that with Anthony Davis. AD changes the entire game with just his defensive presence. Yeah, I heard the guys talking about it today, post-game. James Worthy and Robert Ory. I can't remember which one of them said something to the effect. They said that they value his defensive game better than his offensive game, which says a lot about his defensive game because the dude obviously has a great offensive game. Take the record out of the equation. Got to put Wemby up there. Yeah, Wemby's having stupid stats. Yeah, I wish. Somebody's saying here, I think to Anthony Davis, it would mean a lot to him to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. But I don't think it's going to happen. So, unfortunately for him, I don't think it's going to happen. All right. I want to start talking about if the playoffs started today. I want to start playing all those scenarios out there because I know a lot of Laker fans want to play out those scenarios. So we're going to do that. Before we do so, give a quick shout out to our great partner here on Hoops Talk, Underdog Fantasy. Look at Underdog Fantasy hanging out with Sliwa. Come to Underdog in the offseason. I'm like, guys, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I've done on this channel. You think a little partnership here. Underdog's all in. I appreciate their partnership. Code is HoopsLA. Again, the code is HoopsLA. If you do not play daily fantasy sports, or if you play daily fantasy sports, you play it all the time, you never play it. I'll tell you a little bit about Underdog Fantasy. They are a great partner, and it's so easy to play. I always talk about how I always play NBA games. So I always go to pick'ems. I'm just going to kind of walk you through what I do. I always play pick'ems here. I go to pregame, so games that are coming up, and I go to the NBA. You could do March Madness right now. You got obviously the Final Four. That's probably going on right now. You got the Women's Championship coming up tomorrow. So you could do a number of different sports, but I do the NBA. I say we just do, are there any games? Yeah, let's do a little Houston, Dallas coming up tomorrow. Is that the game? Yeah, let's do Houston, Dallas coming up tomorrow. So we got Luka, higher or lower than 30.5 points. And then let's go Fred VanVleet. Now let's go Dylan Brooks. Higher or lower than 9.5 points. Houston's done. That's done. The question is going to be just how much further Dallas moves up. By the way, I'm all in for Dallas Clippers in the first round. I'm all in for that matchup. I'm all in with Dallas. Mavs Nation, if that's the case. But I feel like that's going to be the matchup. And Mavs are playing some good ball. So, no, let's not go Dylan Brooks. He doesn't score enough. This game's at Dallas. Jalen Green, higher or lower than 24.5 points. I'll go lower. Luka, I'll go higher. It's that simple. Put 2 picks in. I put $20. That's my bet. I got a chance to triple my money. All you got to do is use the code HoopsLA. When you go on the website or you download the app, you sign up with your email address. They're going to ask you what code you have there. Use HoopsLA, and you get a deposit match of up to $100. All right. So if you put $50 in, they'll match 50. Put $100 in, they'll match 100. So you'll have double in your account for just signing up and using my code HoopsLA. All right. Appreciate you guys hanging out for that. All right. If the playoffs started today, here's the current standings of where everybody is. Share this with you guys in 2 seconds. Pull this up here. Here's where the Lakers are. They are out of the mother effing number 9 seed for the first time. If I heard correctly during post-game, Jovan Buha was mentioning it. I think since December, this is the first time that the Lakers are out of the number 8 seed or the number 9 seed. Okay, so here's where the Lakers are. Currently, the Lakers sit at 45-33. They're 12 games over 500 and still at number 8. That's crazy, man. The West. Look at these records in the West. I mean, the Thunder are 52-25. Clippers, who have not been playing that great of basketball as of late, no, maybe they are. They're 7-3. They're starting to turn around. They're 21 games over 500. Dallas is 17 games. Phoenix is 15 games over 500. Okay, if the playoffs started today, this is what it would look like. Lakers would be in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans for a play-in game. If the Lakers won that game, they would get the Denver Nuggets in the first round. Now, Denver's got a game a little later, so this could shake up again. Denver could go to number 1, but let me just play this out the way it is. So the Lakers could potentially have this in their hands, which is kind of fascinating, right? If the season ended today and the Lakers would have the Pelicans, if you beat the Pelicans on the road, you got Denver in the first round, a team that's beat you 8 games in a row and swept you last year in the playoffs. Okay? So keep that one in mind. Now, luckily for the Lakers, the season does not end today. Sacramento and the Lakers, Sacramento has a tiebreaker on the Lakers, but these teams have some really tough matchups coming up. I'm going to actually play these out for you guys because it hasn't really got all that much easier. So right now, the Lakers, the number 7 spot, not out of the picture. 100% not out of the picture. Okay? The number 9 spot, still not out of the picture. Lakers still got to win some games here. I think the key one for me is tomorrow. If they win tomorrow, I feel good that 10's out of the question, basically out of the question. And but anyway, still enough games left, so we'll leave that as is. But this is what the Lakers got. They could still be number 9. They could obviously still be number 10 if they just tanked over these last 4 games. but they could also still be number 7 and they could still be number 6. So let me just kind of go in order of what these teams have left the rest of the way. Let's start with the Phoenix Suns. So the Suns are sitting at number 6 right now in the West. Phoenix still has Minnesota, Clippers twice, New Orleans, and Sacramento. Phoenix, the 3rd toughest schedule the rest of the way, so it's still going to be a headache. The Lakers, the 10th toughest schedule left, but let's go past that. New Orleans, look at the Pelicans. They still got Phoenix, Lakers, Sacramento, Golden State, and Portland. The Pelicans are very, very, very vulnerable right now. A couple weeks ago, they looked like they might even pass the Clippers for the number 4 spot. And I don't know how long. Let me see here how long. Change this up here a little bit for us. Let's make me a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? You guys love looking at this face right here. I want to check one thing with the Pelicans because as they kind of fold here, I want to see when Zion's coming back. Zion didn't play yesterday. They played the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they lost. I mean, that was just awful for them. So Zion, day-to-day, participated in Saturday's practice. They're in some trouble. So they got a tough schedule coming. Sacramento still has the Thunder, the Suns, the Pelicans, and then the Blazers and the Nets. So Sacramento, a little bit easier of a schedule that they have remaining, and they don't have to face the Lakers. So that kind of plays it out for you. Golden State, Lakers still have to play them. Golden State still has the Pelicans as well, and they got a couple easy games coming up. So this is still so very fluid. There's so much going on right now in the NBA. And for the Lakers, even though for the first time they finally got at that number 8 or that number 9 slot, they could move back to number 9. They can fall back to number 10. They could also move up as high as number 6 and avoid the play-in tournament altogether. Now, I'm going to say the same thing that I've been saying here for a while, and this sounds like what a coach would say or something like that, but I really do believe it. And you've heard, some of the coaches say this. They just got to worry about themselves, and I think that's exactly what the Lakers have been doing. I think the Lakers over this course of the last, call it 2 months or so, have basically said, if we just win our games, who cares what else happens? Now, if I'd have told you Lakers were 12 games over 500 with a week left to go a month ago, you'd be like, yeah, you're freaking crazy. What the hell are you talking about? But that's where they are. And some teams are collapsing. The Pelicans have lost 4 games in a row. The Lakers have gained so much ground in such a short period of time because of what's happened to them. Sacramento, and there's reasons why the Pelicans are struggling. Zion missed yesterday. Brandon Ingram, one of their best players, has been out. So it's not like they've done anything wrong. It's just the timing is really bad to have an injury. The Sacramento Kings, the same thing. The timing is really, really bad to have an injury. They lose Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter. They're in some real trouble. Now, to play that the other way, Lakers are almost as healthy as they've ever been, and they're about to get Jared Vanderbilt to get reevaluated coming up here the start of next week. Maybe Vando's going to be back in the picture sooner than later. I don't know. I don't have any insider on that, but obviously that's going to be a question that comes up for the Lakers here in the near future. So Lakers playing really good basketball at the right time, taking advantage of some teams out there that, they're supposed to take advantage of, and then also just playing good ball. Just give them credit, playing good basketball. So that's the current standings right now. Still a lot can change, but I still feel like for the Lakers, I still feel like they're in a kind of a great spot. You're playing your best basketball at the right time, and you're starting to get healthy at the right time. We've all heard this in the cliche in sports is you don't have to be the best team. You got to be the healthiest and the hottest at the right time. Does it not feel like Lakers are falling into that as we sit here? All right, let's take a look at some of your guys' comments here. I'll get into Vando in just a second, by the way. I know a lot of people want to talk Vando. We need to beat Golden State. I mean, listen, the only thing that could be devastating for the Lakers is Minnesota beat you tomorrow because Minnesota's a good team, right? They're a good team. I mean, they're still playing good basketball without Karl Anthony Towns, and they could be a headache tomorrow. Remember last time Lakers beat them, there was no Gobert, there was no Karl Anthony Towns. All right, they don't have a shot against the Lakers. So that's when Anthony Davis had one of those historic nights. But with Gobert and Naz Reid and Anthony Edwards and Mike Conley and Jaden McDaniels, it's a good team. Give them credit. They are a good team. But the worst thing that could happen to the Lakers is they lose tomorrow, and then now all of a sudden, that game coming up on Tuesday, you're basically just one bad night against the Golden State Warriors to falling back to 10th. If you win tomorrow, you handle business. You continue to you have a little bit of cushion right now against the Warriors because the Warriors lost that last game against the Dallas Mavericks without Luka. So there's a little bit of a cushion there. I hope Kings lose tomorrow. They'll win tomorrow. They didn't play bad in Boston. They had a chance to win. And again, they're not a bad team either. They just have a really important role player, two really important role players that are no longer a part of that team. Everybody wants OKC in the first round is what I'm looking here. Yeah, what was going on with Donovan Mitchell today? He was awful. I know he's still coming off the injury. He had the knee issue. He had a broken nose, but he definitely did not look good. I want to see what his points were today. He was bad. There's times I even noticed him in the game. 4 of 13 for Donovan Mitchell. Only 10 points. 18 points total between Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell. Taurean Prince had the same amount of points as Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell combined. The hell would have guessed that today? And Donovan Mitchell usually is a baller against the Lakers. He didn't have both games Lakers played him this year. He didn't play all that good. Let's see what else we got here. Thinking Clippers will beat the Suns 2 in a row. No, I don't think so. I think they split that. Yeah, listen, Phoenix still's got a really tough schedule. So Phoenix got to keep winning too. I mean, they're in 6 now. They're avoiding the play-in, but they still got some tough games the rest of the way as well. All right, what else we got here? Lakers defense showed up today. Thought D'Lo was going to score 80. It looked like it, but like 15 minutes in, he already had 20. Lakers had their same record. They'd be a half game out of the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. I mean, it is what it is. Last year, I think if you were, I'll tell you right now, actually, we were doing this a little bit earlier. Last year in the NBA standings in the Western Conference, so forget the East for a second. If you were 12 games over 500 last year, you're the number 4 spot in the West. Lakers are 12 games over 500. If you were 14 games over 500, you were the number 3 spot. So that kind of just shows you where we are right now as far as all that goes. All right, I appreciate all the comments. Okay. Couple of these here, and then I'm going to preview tomorrow's game, and then we're gonna keep it moving here. So, as far as Christian Wood, I didn't see anything else. I continue to see him on the bench, or at least he was there today, but I don't know what the update is on him. I don't. I think it would be a big surprise if we see him at all. I mean, I thought at one point, I'm going to read something here. Yeah, on the left knee. There hasn't really been any updates. I thought at one point he was done. He was shut down. And then I saw something where he's out for the regular season. I don't know what it means. So, I mean, he did have a procedure on his left knee. The big news I think we're all waiting for right now is this one that everyone wants me to talk about. Is Vando going to make it back? So we'll find out early next week I saw the quotes from Darvin Ham, and basically he's getting reevaluated early next week, and we're going to find out what happens. Tell you what, if he does come back and he's ready to go, and he could just be Jared Vanderbilt, just a player that gets to run around with all these other guards in the NBA. Think about it. Steph, Luka, Jamal Murray, James Harden. Think about all the guards in the NBA. And it's not just guards. He's just big enough to where he can guard some other players as well, some shooting guards, small forward, whoever's got a hot hand. And you could have him back along with everybody else. I mean, that would be, at this stage of the game, that'd be phenomenal. You're going to get practices. You're going to get a little bit more rest. Once the playoffs start, it's obviously a little bit different. Lakers can actually go on a little bit of a heater here. So we'll find out early next week in regards to that. Okay, final thing I want to get into here. Next game coming up is tomorrow against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think this is the toughest game left on the Lakers schedule. I think it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. Part of me is because I think the Lakers match up really well against the Golden State Warriors. Not that won't be tough. It will be. But I think if you win tomorrow, you are putting so much pressure on the rest of the Western Conference, the teams around you. You're putting a ton of pressure on New Orleans, on Phoenix, on the Kings, and on the Warriors. But every one of these teams in the West right now, they're just sitting there and they can't take a breath because Lakers win again, and the Lakers win again, and the Lakers win again. So they don't have a chance to, even Phoenix, who's at number 6, you have a 1 or 2 game losing streak. You got the Lakers breathing right down your neck. And, obviously Lakers have the tiebreaker against the Phoenix Suns, but Minnesota right now still has the best record in the Western Conference. Give them a lot of credit. I know they lost yesterday to the Phoenix Suns, so that wasn't very helpful for the Lakers, but, some of their wins. And again, this is without Karl Anthony Towns. They beat Denver. They beat Golden State. They beat Cleveland. They beat the Clippers. I mean, they've been beating teams, and it was about a month ago or so they played the Lakers. Lakers took care of business, but that was without Minnesota having Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. They got to have Rudy Gobert if they're going to win a game like this against the Lakers. They got to have one big. But if they're going to go on a real run, they obviously need Karl Anthony Towns as well. So we know their team. We know Anthony Edwards. We know Ant is the absolute man. We know Rudy Gobert has a specific role for that team. Mike Conley, Jaden McDaniels, Kyle Anderson, they got a good team. So I think tomorrow's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be an exciting game. And I think if they win tomorrow, Lakers are in great, great shape to try to close out the rest of this regular season. Because remember, after that, it's a home game against Golden State. Then it's a road game at Memphis. And then it's a Pelicans team that seems like it's reeling right now. So, again, that's why I think tomorrow is such a critical, important game. Okay, a couple more comments. I want to get the hell out of here. Hope Bron and AD play because it's a must-win that will put us in a much better situation. I would be shocked if either one of those guys didn't play. He's got to be playing, period. Both got to be playing tomorrow. I don't think there's an excuse for it. I mean, unless if you're LeBron James and you literally, I'm like, no, my body is breaking down and I have an issue and I have to, I'm really, really struggling with this ankle. That's the only thing I could think of. Anthony Davis looked fresh post-game. He looked phenomenal. He had a long post-game comments about where the team is and where they're going and how good he feels about the direction the Lakers are going in. So, again, if it's Bron and there's a specific reason behind it, I can't really say anything. But I would be shocked if both of those players are not suited up tomorrow, taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. All right, let's see. Everyone's beating Denver but us. Yeah, you know what? If they got to end up playing them in the first round, then they got to play them. I would say this. If they played them, I'm going to have some false hope here. But I definitely don't think it would be a sweep, and I think the Lakers could give them a run. Not telling you Lakers are going to beat the Denver Nuggets because there isn't enough data to tell us that. They would have to play perfect basketball. Denver would have to struggle, but if you got to play them at some point, all right, it is what it is. I mean, they're the defending champs, so you got to go through it to get there. Okay, Lake fans, that's all I got. I appreciate you guys hanging out. 50 solid minutes on this Sunday. Lakers over the Cavs, 116-97. We'll be back tomorrow. Post game for Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Please subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate that. And thanks for spending some time with us. Lakers playing some good ball right now. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. Thank you, Lake fans. Have a great rest of your Saturday. We'll chat tomorrow night. Thank you.